is Smarter San Diego TV.
Millennials and baby boomers alike, they want to be in urban environments right now.
Thank God for the Electoral College vote.
In a 4-hour breakfast, we raised $9,000. So that's something that we take pretty seriously.
And you can't diet your way into being lean and fit. They go together.
In New York City, deciding what's best for the rest of the freaking country.
This is not a market built on a stack of cards. It's a solid foundation.
0%. That is a thumbs up.
Everyone has a life worth telling a story about. And the more adversity that you faced, the deeper your story.
Well, am I going to be okay? Am I going to be able to walk?
There's just so much creativity in this town that it's hard to hide it.
Well, you have these beliefs. Well, what do you do with it?
Ever considered property in the 92102? We have our San Diego real estate expert in the house to give us the goods on these hoods. Please welcome Voltaire Lepe.
It is Voltaire. What's up, my man?
Hey, what's up?
How you doing, brother? I think everybody in San Diego knows about 92101, right? Downtown.
Yeah, downtown.
Everybody knows downtown, 92101. What they may not know as much about, however, 92102.
Right.
Right next door.
Downtown stepbrother.
That's Hey, a lot of good things are happening in that neighborhood. Now that encompasses several neighborhoods actually in that zip code, right?
Yeah, for sure. So 92102, it's basically the closest neighborhood to downtown, right there with Barrio Logan and Bankers Hill, which is right there as well. So 92102 encompasses like Sherman Heights, which is very up and coming area. I mean, prices are just skyrocketed over there, and it's literally, it abuts 92101, so it's right across the bridge. You just walk across the bridge, you're in Sherman Heights. There's also parts of Grant Hill. Grant Hill is like right next to Sherman Heights going east off of 25th Street. And they have like spectacular views of Coronado. So there's like houses in there that you're sitting down in your living room and you have views to Coronado like unobstructed. Fantastic. It's crazy. And people don't know about it. And you have houses in the $300,000 range. It's insane. And then you cross the freeway, you cross the 94 going north, and you're in the greater Golden Hill area, right? And greater Golden Hill area encompasses Golden Hill and South Park.
Okay.
Yeah. So, 92102, you go further east, you have a couple more neighborhoods and less desirable areas, but these areas are hot, man. They're right next to downtown.
South Park's on fire.
Yeah, it is.
There's $1 million houses left and right in South Park right now.
Yeah, there is.
A lot of the build-ups, or the infills, I guess we'd call it, where they come in, they knock down the old house down to the studs and then build up something. People are building bigger houses than the ones that existed there before. That seems to be a big trend in the South Park area. Golden Hill, that's where your office is.
Right.
I know you're big in that area. Now this, Barrio Logan, Sherman Heights, people have heard these, that was the hood.
Right.
That's what people say, no, that's the other side. No, we don't want to go that far.
Exactly.
East, we want to go to about 12th, 13th from downtown.
Yeah,
and then
from downtown.
Don't go east of that. And I'll tell you, I just so happened to drive through Barrio, saw the new sign and all the stuff, and I didn't recognize it. It's like, what? I've seen you do Facebook Lives and stuff down there from coffee shops and bakeries or whatever, that lines out the door. What's going on over there? Right? Is this the next spot that's going to be, is this the next North Park down there in 102?
Yeah, so you're telling me you went to Barrio Logan and you came out and you still had your wristwatch and your wallet?
Yeah, everything. Okay. Nobody even looked at me.
You felt safe.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely an area that has been, is becoming gentrified. So it kind of started with Golden Hill, and it started right on 28th Street, right where my office is at, across the street, back in the early 2000s, 2001. The Starbucks opened, and it was like the first Starbucks at that point in time, like in the hood, right? And after that, values really, kind of took off. The ballpark was built in downtown, and a lot of people started going towards that area because there's a lot of very nice craftsman homes, Victorian style homes. These homes are amazing, man. So a lot of people went in there and started like kind of making them better. And then now, in Golden Hill, greater Golden Hill area, the average home is $700,000 $13,000.
Really?
Yeah, $713,000
In Golden Hill?
Yeah, the average home. Yeah, so you could just imagine. So the average list price is $717,000. So basically, whatever you put your home on the market for, it's going to sell. For 99.9% of the asking price. So now that that's happened in Golden Hill, you have to go south of the 94, Grant Hill, right? There's still a lot of opportunity there. Sherman Heights, it's gotten a bit more expensive now, so there isn't that much opportunity there, but the houses are just gorgeous. Then you go down to Barrio Logan. There's still a lot of opportunity there.
Is there?
Yeah, and like you said, we have done Facebook Lives, and there's a lot of coffee shops and different businesses just opening up down there. And the cool part is you see a lot of artists moving in. And I'm actually coming out with a cool segment, a video in Barrio that I did at an art event. So they have these art walks, art crawls that they do. And I went to one, and I was surprised. I was blown away, man. You walk into different warehouses that they have down there where they're having these art exhibits. And I'm talking about, like, on a Saturday night, you could walk into literally a dozen different exhibits in different buildings. And you see some of these prices on these pieces of art, small little pieces of art, 10 grand, 20 grand, 30 grand. There's a guy down there that we had spoken to and interviewed, and he does custom pieces between $50,000 to $100,000.
What?
Yeah, and the crazy part is, these are very intelligent people, highly educated people that have clients in New York, LA, Rancho Santa Fe, and they chose Barrio Logan as their headquarters for their artwork, and to go in there and create stuff, and it's amazing. And I think that's how it starts, right?
That's crazy,
yeah.
man.
So it starts like that. The artist move into a neighborhood, bring it up, revitalize it, make it nicer. Then all of a sudden, it becomes cool, and then other people want to move there too. So these areas are pretty hot.
Let me ask you some specific questions then. First of all, I'll talk as an investor, and then second of all, I want to talk about as a seller.
Right.
So as an investor, I know you've got your eyes peeled. You said the opportunity, there's still opportunity in Barrio.
For sure.
What is the opportunity there? Is it a VRBO opportunity? Is it a fix and flip opportunity? What are the opportunities you're looking for?
As an investor?
Yeah.
I'm doing some Airbnbs in that area, and believe it or not, man, people want to stay there, and the occupancy rate is above 90,
Wow.
percent, as far as people, as far as a month being booked. So there's definitely opportunity there, and just because it's so close to downtown, so people rather stay there than go downtown and spend a bunch of money on a hotel for the night, and so there's opportunity there. And as far as other type of investment opportunities, there's 2 to 4 units that you could buy in that area. There's single family homes even. Because if you could buy a home in that area for $350,000, as an investor, you put 20% down, all of a sudden, your mortgage is about $280,000 or so. You could get down a little bit lower, $260,000, then maybe all of a sudden you might have some type of cash flow situation with rents just rising. And again, there's 2-unit, 3-unit, 4-unit opportunities down there.
A lot of people looking for those multi-unit homes. But what if you're a seller, though? If you're obviously some people have to sell,
right?
But if you don't, if you're thinking like, hey, I moved into the hood, I've been working at my job, we saved up some money, now we're ready to go put that down payment in and go buy a place in Carmel Valley,
right,
or something like that,
right?
Does it make sense to sell when you know that a market is going up and is likely to have great long-term rewards?
Yeah, well, it all depends on your situation. So a lot of sellers sell because of life situations.
Right.
Whether they need a bigger home, they're having another child, sometimes divorce, sometimes death. So at the end of the day, if you have a property in that area and you need that second or third bathroom, properties in that area typically don't have, they're older homes. They're all built in the late 1800s to the early 1900s.
Wow.
So back then, they didn't have that second bath, or for sure not no third bath.
Y'all are lucky that you have one toilet in here. I don't want to hear anything.
Exactly. So a lot of people are moving because of that. A lot of people are moving because they just want a different neighborhood. But I think there's, as far as a seller, you know, a lot of sellers in that area, and the reason why there's only, you know, about 13 properties to 16 properties a month that sell in that area, there isn't a lot of inventory. There isn't a lot of sellers that want to sell, and a lot of the sellers are older. So what happens when you've owned the property for a long time? All of a sudden you have to pay capital gains taxes. So if you bought the property for, you know, 50 grand, and now you're selling it for $400,000 to $700,000, you have a big gain, and then all of a sudden that's a taxable event, unless you do a 1031 exchange. The cool part that I learned about 1031 exchanges, there's actually opportunities where you don't have to actually buy another property. You can put it into a fund that owns real estate, and it sends you a monthly cash flow of, you know, 5%, a 6% return, whatever you're looking for. And it's actually pretty cool because you don't have to go identify property, you don't have to go searching, and you don't get taxed.
Yeah.
You know, and you don't have to deal with tenants. You don't have
defer
to
the taxes.
Yeah, you defer the taxes
by REITs. Yeah, that's a lot of my international real estate holdings are all in REITs, because it makes so much sense.
Yeah.
But this is good stuff. So be on the lookout for opportunities. If you own a property and you want to sell it, Voltaire can help you, obviously.
Yeah.
If you don't want to sell it, if you think, well, we don't want to sell it, but we still need to move, well, Voltaire can help you there too, right, with your property management firm. So.
Yeah, we have property management. We could help you out and, you know, get you market rents, because a lot of owners in that area don't know what the true rent is that they could get.
Well, you do, and you can help people get that. Great stuff, Voltaire. Thank you so much for coming in today.
All right,
really
you're
appreciate
welcome.
your time.
Thank you.
Stick around for more Smarter San Diego TV, where we guarantee to make you smarter than everyone else, commercial free.
Our next guests are here to spread some holiday cheer. Please give a warm welcome to the man who knows all things Santee, Daniel Buksa, and his special guests from the Santee Santas Foundation, Vice President John Morley, and President Sam Modica.
Here they are, Santee Santas in the house.
Thank you. Thank you.
Awesome, great stuff. Daniel, Santee, your hood.
Yes, sir.
And you've been representing it very well on the show. Tell us about why you wanted to bring the Santee Santas on today.
Well, for me, I've always said on the show that I have a great passion for Santee, being born and raised, living there for 40 years. And Santee Santas is one of the great things about Santee. The whole community comes together, and none of this happens without great leadership. And that's why I want to bring Sam and John on the show today, is really get a good idea about what Santee Santas does and why they make this so special during the holiday season for Santee.
Sam, I'm going to go to you first here.
Okay.
What is Santee Santas?
Well, we're a nonprofit organization that we help the low-income families in the city at the holidays, families and seniors. Now, Santee Santas is not anything new. We've been around since 1953, so this is our 63rd year in business.
Awesome. Hey, that's awesome. 63 years.
And the first year that Santee Santas was in existence, there was one school in Santee, the Santee school. The Pepper Drive area of Santee was just under development, and we had 5 families that qualified. That the firefighters noticed these families that they were struggling, and the firefighters took it upon themselves to start Santee Santas, and they provided food and toys to those 5 families, and the deliveries, the deliveries were done by fire truck. And over the years, we have grown. After the firefighters got it kicked off, then the school district stepped in and took the reins on running the program for a number of years. And then after a while, the school district felt that it was time to go public, if you will, and get the community involved. And that's when they established Santee Santas Foundation with volunteers. And in 1996, Santee Santas got their nonprofit status, their 501c3 status, which means Anybody that makes a donation to Santee
Gets a
Santas
write-off.
is tax deductible.
So that's a pretty crazy history.
Yeah.
They've been around that long, the Santee Santas, and now it's still being carried on by you guys here.
Yep.
Obviously something that's very special for you. What is it that really, touches your heart about the Santee Santas?
The way the community comes together at this time of the year.
We got him.
Got it.
So what happens when the community is coming together? You mean the community of Santee, really?
Yeah, the community of Santee, the way everybody comes together, the volunteers to help with sorting of food, collecting toys, wrapping toys, and then on delivery day, which this year is December 22nd. We have hundreds of volunteers that show up to deliver all the collected toys and food for the applicants that were selected for our program. We have approximately 220 families in the program as of right now. I anticipate getting a few straggler applications in between now and the weekend, and I have to look at every one of those to see if they qualify, because they have to meet certain financial qualifications. And so we have, like I said, we have about 220, 230 families in the program now. We have about over 800 people amongst those families, 400 children, 400 plus children, and about 110 seniors, all in that big mix of those families.
Incredible. It's great stuff. Obviously, an amazing thing that you guys are doing. John, tell us from your perspective, when that delivery day, when you've gone through this whole process of vetting applications, getting the community involved, and then, you get to see those rewards of that work. What is that like?
It's quite an emotional day for us. We have everybody and their brother that comes to help us. I mean, from the firefighters to the sheriff's department to realtors. I mean, there's all kinds of people. Our Miss Santee comes, our Miss Teen Santee comes, and we just pack the boxes, and it's just so heartwarming to see people come and help other people that need help. It's about being a Santee resident. It's about Santee family.
It's awesome. Now, for people out there who you talk about straggler applications, maybe someone's hearing about this for the first time. They know of someone. Is this a situation where you have to apply yourself as a family? Could someone nominate a family?
No,
How does
the
that
family
work?
has to apply themselves.
Okay.
And normally on our application intake, we have 3 sessions where we open the doors at one of the schools, and the people come with their applications, and they go through an interview process. And then my board of directors will review those out. The applications are taken by volunteers. Okay. We have people that have done this over the years, and then the application is passed on to the board of directors, and we all take the applicants and we look at it, verify that everything is correct, and we let them know right then and there after they've applied. They'll know before they leave that school that night if they've been approved for the program.
Okay, so it's pretty quick.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we do a pretty quick turnaround.
Okay, well that's good.
That's pretty much how the application process goes, and then we always say that we open it to where if people missed applications, the 3 application intakes, which always happens, we give them a certain date. This year it was December 5th. Yeah, December 5th, midnight, December 5th, their application had to be postmarked. That said, I probably shouldn't say it, but I reserve the right to approve others.
If they come in past that deadline. So if, for example, let's say right now, what do you guys need help with at this stage of the game? Do you need from volunteers? Is it toys? Do you need people to donate money? Like, what is it that you all need that people are out there who want to be a part of this can do for you?
Right now, I think I don't know what our food donation looks like right now, because we have a food donation program going on through the Santee schools, and they won't deliver that boxes of food items until Thursday. However, money always works, because we still have to go buy items to supplement the program.
Okay.
And there are 2 ways that people can make a donation. They could write a check and mail it in to Santee Santas. And our address is on our website, or an easier way, they can go to our website and they can make a donation through PayPal.
Perfect. I think that's the easiest thing for everybody.
Yeah.
And it does take a lot of effort to pull something like this off.
Yes.
I mean, it really, really does. A lot of volunteers. A lot of people have to have their heart and soul.
The whole community gets involved. It's absolutely great. We're actually doing an event at our office on December 10th to raise 50 bicycles for Santee Santas, as well as additional funds for gift cards and food and different things. So it's a big passion of ours, and anyone who's doing great things in Santee, I'm extremely proud of. And these are two people that are what makes Santee great, and I just love the opportunity to be able to showcase them.
Guys, thank you so much for coming on today. And
you're welcome.
Thank you for the work that you're doing out there for the people of Santee, protecting your own and making sure that everybody has a great holiday season. It really is a touching thing that y'all are doing. So
yep, we want to make sure that everybody has a happy holidays.
Fantastic stuff from the Santee Santas. Thank you all so much for coming on today.
Thank
really,
you.
really appreciate your time, and stick around for more Smarter San Diego TV, where we guarantee to make you smarter than everyone else, commercial free.
Many San Diegans are not impressed with the recent grocery bag charge, but our next guest believes that this is a huge benefit for our beautiful beaches. Please welcome the owner of the Avenue Home Collective, Melissa Sofia, and her guest, former chair of the Surfrider Foundation, Roger Kube.
Here they are. What's going on, y'all?
Hi.
Welcome back, Melissa Sofia.
Thank you.
Great to have you here.
For having me.
Roger Kube, thank you for coming on.
Thanks
it's
for
your first
having
time
me.
on the show.
Thank you.
We're here to talk about Surfrider Foundation.
Yes.
Which I'm going to learn completely about today. I didn't look anything up because I wanted you guys to tell me everything about it today.
And you know nothing about us?
I know nothing.
How long have you lived in San Diego?
11 years.
Wow, okay.
Yeah,
okay.
I know nothing. I want to know. And I also know that you guys had a lot to do with the plastic bag ban, which I, of course, voted for the ban
Good job.
of plastic bags
Good job.
because what do we really need plastic bags for? And I've been religiously using my, what would you call those?
Reusables?
Yeah, the reusable bags.
Perfect.
Yeah. Totes.
Totes, yeah.
Similar to the Avenue tote here that Melissa's, I think you've got something going on with that,
I
right?
do. Well, I went on a search for a wonderful nonprofit to help support. And I mean, when you talk about San Diego, you immediately think of beaches. So, of course, Surfrider Foundation came up in my mind. They are just a very transparent and grassroots organization. The money that you donate to this organization goes to support our beaches and, doing the cleanups, supporting campaigns like the plastic bag ban. I really couldn't find a better nonprofit to support. So it's very important to me. I mean, it's not just about the coastlines being beautiful. It's not about bringing in tourism revenue. It's where we bring our families and, where we celebrate and go jogging. And it's just very important to me and to the Avenue to constantly be protecting our coastline. So I'm so happy to have met Roger. He was the former chair of Surfrider Foundation, and see what they do.
Yeah, thanks, Melissa. We're really happy to have their support. As Melissa mentioned, we can't do what we do unless we have donations like we've received from Melissa's company.
Tell us what it is that you guys do at Surfrider.
So the Surfrider Foundation is a global nonprofit organization dedicated to protect and enjoy our oceans, waves, and beaches. Okay. So our mission is to protect and enjoy our oceans, waves, and beaches. The San Diego County chapter is one of 84 chapters in the country, and there's about over 100 across the globe, all throughout the world. San Diego County chapter was actually the first chapter in the network to develop, although the Ventura chapter will argue they're the first, but we say we're the first back in 1991. So we've been in San Diego County protecting our ocean and beaches since 1991.
So what does that look like? What are the activities, let's say, of the Surfrider Foundation?
So the Surfrider Foundation, we have, I believe we're up to 9 programs now dedicated to carry out our mission. We have our beach cleanup program that Melissa mentioned, also a Rise Above Plastics program, which is the committee of volunteers that led on the plastic bag bans and other initiatives in San Diego. I won't go through all 9 today. It'll take about a half hour in and of itself. But we also have committees, programs that are dedicated to helping to reduce the runoff we see in our ocean. You may or may not know this, but it's not advisable to enter the ocean for at least 3 days after the rain stops. when it does rain because of the pollution, the urban runoff that gets into the water.
3 days?
3 days, yeah.
I guess if I was a surfer, I would probably know that.
Yeah, if you were a surfer, well, you should, but you'd be...
surfers know, that's common knowledge.
You'd be surprised. There are a lot of surfers who are unaware of that.
Really?
The danger. Get into the danger and get into the water and get sick. The San Diego County Health Department does a pretty good job of getting the word out there, but ultimately not everybody knows. So we try to help to make sure people are aware of that. So ocean water quality issues, marine debris issues, beach access issues, making sure because we all have the right to access any part of the California coastline. So sometimes developers or maybe private residents try to keep you from certain areas of the beach. So basically, we're just everything that we can do to help protect our beach and our ocean. And we have 9 programs dedicated to that.
So that everyone can enjoy the beaches.
Exactly.
How important is that to California?
Exactly.
My goodness.
And we're a grassroots organization, so we're bottom up. There's Surfrider Foundation headquarters that's based out of San Clemente. However, the initiatives that we start with local community activists. We're not being told what we can and can't do. It all arises from local San Diego issues. We develop campaigns. We're all volunteers except for 3 staff people in San Diego. We develop the campaigns and then we execute the campaigns with the support of companies like Home Collective.
So how, Proposition 67, the plastic bag ban, why was that one of those top priorities for you guys to really get behind?
Sure. Prop 67 was a landmark legislation. It was a huge deal that our organization and a lot of other organizations worked on for, I think, 7 legislative sessions before it actually went through.
Wow.
And locally, San Diego, myself and some other colleagues helped to push that through in San Diego County, encourage San Diego County residents to make them aware, inform them, educate them so that they would vote yes. And so it was a long, arduous process to get this through the legislature, which it was voted yes in the legislature back in 2014. Governor Jerry Brown signed it into law in September 2014. But unfortunately, out-of-state plastic bag manufacturers spent about $3 million to put a referendum on the November 2016 ballot that halted the law from going into effect. So one thing I've been hearing a lot of complaints about this new law is we had no notice. We didn't know that overnight we were going to go from having access to these bags for free to have to pay for reusable bags or have to bring our own reusable bags. But that was a direct result of the out-of-state corporations stalling the law that actually was signed into law back in September 2014.
It was just plastic bags, not the paper bags, right?
Yeah, not the paper bags.
Foods or something like that. So the plastic bags are specifically bad for the ocean.
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
We're creating a plastic ocean, per se. We have to protect our marine life, and this is why the Avenue Home Collective is now providing some reusable bags for, oh yes.
Yeah, let me see.
If you jump on the Avenue Home Collective Facebook, you will find a link where you can get your own free grocery reusable bag. And we'll be with you every single time you go to the store.
So Roger, tell us some stats from Surfrider Foundation or that you know about the plastic bags.
Sure. I mean, just to kind of hone in on the point of why plastic pollution is such a big issue. Recent studies have found that by 2050, at our continued pace of our plastic pollution entering the ocean, that the poundage of plastic pollution is going to exceed the number of fish in the ocean, which is a pretty alarming statistic.
Holy smokes.
Mm-hmm. Another one that alarmed me anyhow was a recent study out of UC Davis where they took samples of fish out of our California supermarket, showed that more than a third of those fish that were taken out of our supermarkets contained microplastics. Now, to understand what plastics are contained of, when plastics get wet, so when plastics don't biodegrade, they photodegrade. And what happens when they photodegrade, they break down into smaller and smaller pieces that fish mistake for food. And once those pieces get wet and they're consumed by the fish, then carcinogens are released into the fish from absorbing that plastic. So effectively, it could be argued that as it gets back into our food chain and we're eating fish, that we're also getting those carcinogens. So that's a pretty alarming statistic too, that 1/3 of the sample of fish they took out of our supermarkets contained plastics.
Holy smokes.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Well, obviously, Melissa, your company.
Yes.
Roger, your company.
Yeah, Pure Mortgage as well. Pure Mortgage is also a corporate sponsor of the Surfrider Foundation.
Yeah. What can other folks do? I mean, people who want to be involved there's a lot of people out there, and it's great that they want to champion the environment. I
Absolutely.
think we all have to do our part. For those people, how could they get involved with Surfrider Foundation? A membership organization, volunteer organization? What do you guys need?
Well, we actually have a beach cleanup. The Avenue Home Collective is
Oh, really?
sponsoring a beach cleanup March 18th. So we'll be at Moonlight Beach. If you want to come by and help us clean up, we're going to try to get rid of, our goal is to go for a good 150 pounds of waste and get it off our beaches. You could also connect with Surfrider through our website at theavenuehomecollective.com, or find Surfrider on Facebook, connect with them there.
Yeah, and ultimately just what Melissa said, we come out and participate in the activities and the events that we have, whether it be a beach cleanup, if somebody wants to get more involved and join one of our committees, it's open to everyone. Come check us out. Just check us out online, surfridersd.org, and this will give you all the information you need to know about our programs and what our programs are all about, and volunteer opportunities. All that information's online. And I think not everybody can be a Surfrider volunteer, right? But I think, for example, what Melissa is doing here with, distributing reusable bags is a great help to a greater sustainable San Diego. In fact, in addition to using reusable bags, we encourage people to use reusable water bottles, reusable cups. Look for ways to reduce your plastic pollution so that in 2050, plastic pollution doesn't exceed the amount of fish that we have in our ocean. And if you visit online, surfridersd.org, we have many tips on how to reduce your plastic footprint.
Like, don't go to Starbucks, because every time I go, that's the one thing that just like.
Or just bring a reusable cup.
It tears me up.
Or just bring a reusable
because
cup.
But you see so many people coming in and out and in and out all day long with the plastic, and I'm just thinking to myself, man, this just seems like a lot.
It is.
So Starbucks so good for one, but they will let you use reusable stuff.
yeah.
Correct.
They'll make your drink in whatever you bring them. So that's another good point, hopefully, that we can make, people can learn from today. Thank you guys so much for coming in today.
Thanks for
really
having us.
appreciate all the good work you're doing. And Melissa, so how do we get this bag?
Just going to jump on Facebook and add the Avenue Home Collective. You'll find a link on there, and you can just sign in to get a free Avenue grocery bag sent your way.
Never get charged for bags again.
That's right.
Great stuff. Thank you
right.
guys for being here. Really appreciate it. Stick around for more Smarter San Diego TV, where we guarantee to make you smarter than everyone else. Commercial free.
Many people are attracted to San Diego's coastal properties, so our next guest is here to let us know what the market looks like for 2017. From Danny Davis Real Estate, please welcome the broker owner and the man himself, Danny Davis.
There he is, Danny Davis.
Good to see you
Welcome
again,
back,
my
friend.
friend.
Good to see you too.
Always a pleasure.
Yeah, the coast.
Yeah.
I mean, gosh, this is what makes San Diego San Diego.
It is. I mean, not a lot of people move to San Diego and don't want to be close to the coast.
Or at least visit it.
Right.
Proximity is important.
Right.
Let's
All
put
the
it that way.
zonies on the coast.
They will tell you that. So when I think about the overall market in San Diego, I don't think about it as a whole. I do think about it as coastal, as we call it, and inland.
Right.
And there is a line, there's a gray area in between there.
Sure.
But there really are different markets.
100%.
So, but I've been, the coastal markets over the past 6-7 years have been extremely interesting. I mean, since the crash, what we've seen happen in Oceanside has been tremendous.
Amazing.
Carlsbad, unprecedented. And I still feel like there's opportunities out there. So today, it's great to have you here.
Let's talk about it.
Yeah, so we can just run right down the gamut, because, I mean, when you talk about, obviously the first thing people think is probably, a lot of people don't think about Point Loma or Ocean Beach really as being coastal, but that is coastal too.
It's coastal, yeah. Ocean Beach has a great beach, and you got the pier right there. And, talking about what's going on in Oceanside and in Carlsbad, it's also happening in Ocean Beach as well. Take for instance Oceanside. The investment opportunity is huge in Oceanside because it hasn't caught up to the Pacific Beach, the La Jolla, Solana Beach, Cardiff, Encinitas, Del Mar area. So people looking for still affordable housing, coastal housing, Oceanside's a great place to be. Ocean Beach is a great place to be.
Yeah, Ocean Beach is it's just a different property types, because it's been there longer.
Right.
I feel like Oceanside has really come up in the last, decade,
right?
Let's say, and so it's just a different style of home that's there, a different type of construction. It's not as old as some of the other old beach towns like Mission Beach and Pacific Beach.
Right, right. And like Oceanside, you have these little niche communities like off of Wisconsin and stuff that are amazing, you know, little craftsman style houses and with ocean views, and you're still just a couple minutes walk to the beach. And then you go to Ocean Beach as well, and as you get, you know, 7 or 8 blocks like Sunset Cliffs area, amazing homes, still somewhat affordable as you start going up the hill, but beautiful views, and you still have the coastal community feel. You still have the ocean feel.
And there's some of these communities are more dynamic. Like I would say Ocean Beach, Mission Beach, Pacific Beach are more dynamic. You never know what you're going to get. Like if you left and came back 10 years later, you're not sure what you would find there.
Right, right.
You know?
Right.
Whereas you have other communities like La Jolla and Del Mar, and I would even go as far now as to say Encinitas, even though that's a much bigger, Encinitas is huge.
Right.
But La Jolla, Del Mar, you leave today, you come back 10 years, you go in a time capsule and you wake up and then, you know, it's 10 years later, you're going to know it's good, what's going to be there.
Pretty much, but you
right?
brought up Encinitas, which is funny because I actually live in Encinitas.
Okay.
If you would have thought Encinitas 10 years ago, you could easily drive down the 101 and find a parking spot right in front of wherever you were going. Now they've got so many new bars and restaurants and, you know, fine dining and shops that are opening up. Encinitas is booming. We've got a Whole Foods right on the 101 now, where 10 years ago, no one would have thought it.
That's right. In fact, I frequent a restaurant that's on the 101 called Eve.
I know it
which
well.
is a new one in Encinitas across from Better Buzz.
Right.
Which I'd never heard of Better Buzz before, but apparently that's a chain too, a coffee
And
chain.
that place is jamming.
And it's yeah, what do they call it? The best drink ever,
right.
I think, or something like that.
Get buzzed on the best drink ever.
The best drink ever. Yeah, they have this drink. It's called the best drink ever, and it really is good. So things are changing in Encinitas. But Encinitas, when we talk about Encinitas, it's not just coastal, right? Encinitas is this huge. Right. If we just talk about coastal Encinitas, which, you know, you're talking about Cardiff, Leucadia,
right?
You know, you have those different pockets of it. I still think, for me, coastal-wise, and I'm just talking dollars and cents looking down the line, I like Encinitas over everything else that's out there.
I love it. So, Encinitas, coastal-wise, and then even Leucadia. You know, Leucadia used to be Encinitas' stepbrother almost. You know, people say keep Leucadia funky and all that, but Leucadia is going through a dynamic change as well because it's getting the excess flow from Encinitas that want to be like Moonlight Beach. You know, you've got Neptune that goes along the coast in Leucadia, which, you know, multi-million-dollar houses right there on the coast, but just a few streets back where it used to be more affordable, I guess. A lot of people are priced out from that, and that's Leucadia. So when I see that trend heading up north too. Carlsbad's already gotten pretty expensive itself, and that's why it's hitting Oceanside right now. And take Fire Mountain in Oceanside, for example. 5 years ago in Fire Mountain, Oceanside, you would have been looking at a $400,000, $500,000, $600,000 house. Now you're lucky to find one under $1 million.
Yep, and that is, I think, that's part of the wave.
Right.
So the wave of people and of money and real estate in San Diego has been pushing up north. And it's gotten to Oceanside. It's
Right.
still not as thick there as it is down here, but I still think that in Encinitas you have your best bang because while Oceanside has not reached its full potential, it still has gone up quite a bit.
Right.
Carlsbad, some of the prices in Carlsbad will blow your socks off.
Ridiculous,
right?
Yeah.
So I go, well, wait a minute. Encinitas, not nearly as far away as those areas from like the airport, you know, baseball games,
Right.
you know, the mix, Mission Valley,
Right.
that type of stuff. Not nearly as far away from that stuff, but you get this great coastal community, amazing schools, really dynamic aspects.
And it still has that sleepy type of surfer village that people know Encinitas and Cardiff and Leucadia for. It still has that, but it has more of an infrastructure now. Like they just put up the community park behind Vaughn's there off Santa Fe.
Right.
And there's a skate park now, and it's like I think it's 40-something acres and softball fields, 2 dog parks, and it's absolutely an amazing community feel. And you know, you walk down the street and wave to your neighbors still. It hasn't gotten built up so much to where it doesn't have that community feel to it.
I think that's the only issue with Carlsbad, and I love Carlsbad. I think Carlsbad is one of the best investments people have made in real estate in the past decade. But it's a tourist area.
And it's pretty expansive. It's pretty big. If you look at Carlsbad Coastal.
That's huge.
Yeah. So Encinitas has 2 or 3 exits off the 5, and that's the whole thing. Cardiff has Manchester and Birmingham, you know, and so you go down to a little community. Whereas if you go into, and that's the thing about Oceanside, as you go into Carlsbad, it starts to get a little more expansive, and then Oceanside gets even more expansive. So you don't have the neighborhood, the typical neighborhood community feel that you would have in these smaller communities.
Yeah, and I think that just depends on what you're looking for, you know, but for me, I like that. And I think Encinitas, I live in Del Mar,
right?
And Encinitas is right there. I'm in Encinitas all the time.
Right.
I go to the shops there, I'm constantly driving Encinitas.
Right.
I'm realizing, you know, this is probably where I need to be.
Yeah, I absolutely love it. And the city of Encinitas is really doing great things too. Like they're keeping Swami's upgraded, they're keeping Moonlight Beach upgraded. You know, they do the concerts in the park there. Yeah. They just built a few years ago, built the crossing underneath the railroad tracks so people don't have to cross the railroad tracks when they go to surf, things of that sort. It's a great community. Del Mar, where you live, is a fantastic community too, and it still has that community feel because it is still small.
Smaller.
Right.
Exactly, stayed smaller. Where the Carlsbad's, I don't know if Oceanside is going to be able to be small. Carlsbad definitely is not.
Right.
But Encinitas still has it. And La Jolla too is one of the ones where we look at the coast, and everything on the coast has been really healthy. Hey, let's be honest. 2016 was a great year for real estate.
No doubt.
We don't have any statistics here to tell you like, oh, this one was good, this one was bad, this one. No, they're all good.
Right.
So
exactly.
really, what you're looking at now is what are the logistics of the areas? Like, what does it each have to offer?
Right.
Because while you will see higher price per square foot in La Jolla and Del Mar, one of the things that La Jolla has done a really good job of is sort of maintaining this certain feel, this extremely sleepy, like go there at 9 p.m. and everyone's gone,
right.
and like off the streets. They have really maintained that.
Right, 100%.
It's still there.
La Jolla shuts down at probably 11 o'clock midnight. You know, they opened there's a new Sinopolis, or it's called the Arc or something. The Lot in La Jolla, and that's great. And that's, you know, that's probably one of the most late night spots that you'll find in La Jolla because they keep the bar open for people to go into the movies.
Yeah, which is an awesome spot, by the way. I've been there a few times.
Yeah.
It's really cool.
Yeah.
And one of my favorite restaurants is in La Jolla as well, so I go there quite a bit. But you know, these coastal areas, what we've seen is one thing is for sure. Over time, they do sort of identify. They sort of adopt an identity and then maintain it. Mm-hmm. Some of the areas I don't expect that to happen in our lifetime would be like Mission Beach, Pacific Beach.
Right.
But even Ocean Beach has its own sort of thing going,
right.
that it's had going for a long time. I think it's for some people, not for others.
Right.
But, you know,
yeah,
it's there. It's an option.
It has its own identity. Like Ocean Beach, it was a hippie area in the 70s, and it's kind of held onto that. And, you know, it's gradually losing it a little bit. But, I mean, if you look at Ocean Beach 15 years ago, it's quite a bit different. A lot of renters were there now. Now you're starting to see a lot of people buying in Ocean Beach because it's still on the affordability side. It's still a lot more affordable than your La Jolla, Del Mar, and things like that.
And that's the $1 million question I'm going to ask you right now.
Sir.
Okay, Danny, brought you here for this one question. This is the big one.
All right, bring it.
Best bang for your buck, coastal place where you would put your dollars right now. Mm-hmm. You had a briefcase with $1 million.
It's in the lobby.
Yeah. Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Where would you put it right now?
Well, am I for an owner-occupied property, or am I looking to invest?
Either or. You can answer it however you want.
Okay, I'll answer both. For owner-occupied, I love North County, San Diego. You know, I love the Cardiff, Solana Beach to Leucadia. You're going to get a lot more for your money than you will Del Mar, La Jolla. Carlsbad's a great place to put your money. You know, it kind of depends on the property. That's for owner-occupied because I love those areas. As far as an investment, I'd have to say Oceanside.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you're looking to buy and hold as an investment property solely, you're going to get a lot more for your money in Oceanside.
Fantastic stuff. Danny Davis, thanks for coming in today, man.
Thanks again, Derek.
Really
Always a
it.
pleasure.
Stick around for more Smarter San Diego TV, where we guarantee to make you smarter than everyone else, commercial free.
Combat veterans are responsible for 21% of all domestic violence cases in the United States. Our next guests are here to provide some awareness on the issue. Please welcome retired Navy veteran Derek Barksdale and his special guest, Dr. Ramona Probasco.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
What's up?
Thank you. Happy to be here.
Back, LT. Dr. Ramona, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
This is, LT, you wanted to bring Dr. Ramona on today. I got to let you tell us why. It's a big deal.
Well, I've known Dr. Ramona and her husband Tim for about a year and a half now, and we belong to a forum together, and it's a Christian-based forum, and we kind of learn a little bit more about each other as time moves along, and found out that Dr. Ramona here not only is a doctor, but she's she specializes within psychology and is a marriage family therapist, and actually has some really good information on domestic violence. And now with the holiday season coming up, with the holiday period just basically being known as the period where most domestic violence is prone, felt that this would probably be the right time to bring it out and hopefully get some people the help that they need and some awareness, more importantly.
Yeah, share the resources that are available. Dr. Ramona, thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
So, do you specialize working with the military community?
I don't necessarily specialize working with the military community, but I am a Tri-West provider.
Okay.
So I work with people from all sorts of backgrounds. I've been in private practice for almost 18 years, working with individuals, couples, and families. But domestic violence is a particular topic that's near and dear to me, so that's why I was so excited that Derek invited me to the program today.
So do you think, since you have experience in both arenas, do you think domestic violence is something that is more prevalent in the military community versus the civilian
Great
community?
question. Well, first of all, domestic violence is a serious issue in all communities. But I would say most definitely, and statistically, research demonstrates that domestic violence is worse in the military community. As a matter of fact, combat veterans are responsible for 21% of domestic violence in the United States.
Wow.
So I don't know if you knew that, but
No,
yeah,
I did not.
it's very high.
Is there any kind of reasoning behind that, or is there, what makes it different?
Right. Well, my opinion and my experience in working with military is that they have unique stressors that the civilian community does not have. For instance, exposure to war, which can lead to, as we know, post-traumatic stress disorder, traumatic brain injury, or both. And if they're not exposed to war, there's just what goes with being in the military, and that is frequent moving. So you have relocation, you're not surrounded by family and friends that you know. Just the pressures of the long hours. And so it's definitely, there are stressors in the military that civilians do not have. Plus, if domestic violence is reported, then there is the anxiety associated that, well, will I lose my job? If my commanding officer, how is he or she going to respond to this? And if I lose my job, then I lose my housing and my retirement and my medical benefits. So there's a lot involved as far as with the military that the civilian community may not necessarily have those type of stressors.
Okay, so it's because of their commitments.
Right.
To the things that they have, sworn to do, an oath to do, they have this greater stress, whereas a civilian could say, "Oh, not that job. I'll get another job." Or,
right.
Whatever. So they don't have that freedom, so to speak.
Yeah, and
that's
often
constrictive.
exactly, and often there can be just one person working in the family, and in the case, it may not always be the wife staying at home, but let's just say it is the dependent that's staying at home. So there's reliance on just one income, and so if there's a disclosure of domestic violence, that runs the risk of losing that income, which of course is scary for anyone.
Okay, so that's why the spouse may not want to report.
They may not want to report, and also if you are married to a wounded veteran, there's going to be pressure that, do I want to cause further disturbance when this person is disabled or has some sort of wound resulting from war? I mean, that there's going to be complexity involved with that that's, again, unique to someone in the military.
So it's true then that this time of year, the holiday season, is where this domestic violence tends to spike?
To peak,
Yeah.
yes. That's in both civilian and military, but again, you have military that may in all likelihood not be around family and not have that type of family support during the holidays. So the holidays are difficult for both military and civilian, but definitely more stress on the military.
As you know, my previous job, actually in the military, I was a force protection officer overseeing law enforcement and public safety functions. And then when I got out, I became a GS, government service employee, where I was the police chief. And so there was periods where we specifically made sure that information was available to our military service members and their families. And it was typically related to the holiday season and then also post-deployment and pre-deployment, because those are the times when stressors are high. And I love how you mentioned during the time of that relocation period too, and we definitely have to talk about that, because those are very stressful moments that the typical civilian doesn't get put into, and where you mentioned that the spouse or that dependent may not want to go forward because they're in it together. They feel like, hey, we're going through this together, and they feel and they know what those stressors are bringing. So sometimes they may feel like, oh, well, he's just going through some things, or she's just going through some things, and may not report it. So ironically enough, it is a problem, and it, one is a problem, but there are 21%. I didn't even know that. That's huge there, and we got to get ahead of this. And there's some ways, and I'm thankful for Dr. Ramona here.
Yeah.
What she does.
And this is how we do it. We have programs like this, which I so appreciate you all inviting me, because we have to get the word out and get this information out so people who are already feeling perhaps isolated know how to connect and get the support that they need.
Let's talk about that. Let's go right into that, because what do you do?
Right.
I mean, what's like step one, and is there an escalation in that, or do you immediately, right away go to the full bore?
Well, my advice always is safety trumps. So if a person is in imminent danger, I advise to call 911 immediately. Don't even waste any time with that. If imminent danger is not present, say for instance, and I don't want to sound stereotypical here, but I'm just for sake of example, that the abuse perpetrator is the active military, and he or she is on deployment. Well, of course, so now you have, you don't have the issue of them being home. So I would encourage a person to reach out, and I will provide at the end of the show different domestic violence support organizations, and get in contact with a domestic violence counselor. Not all counselors are equal, okay? Like I was telling you guys before the show, I'm a certified domestic violence counselor, I'm a marriage and family therapist. I wouldn't try to fix your vehicles because it's not what I've been trained to do. Likewise with counselors, you want to work with someone who understands domestic violence. If they encourage couples counseling, that is number one red flag. It is dangerous to do couples counseling when abuse is present. So, or if they imply in some way that the victim is to blame, like they have provoked the violence or what have you, run for the hills. That's not the person you want to work with.
Gotcha. So you do have a choice then. I mean, when it comes down to it.
You want to ask those questions. Are you trained? And if you're not, that's okay. To keep looking for someone who is.
Okay. But then, so, counseling should be one-on-one in these situations. Definitely should not be
couples.
Couple.
Exactly.
Okay. Right.
And there's wonderful support groups out there as well. So depending on what the person, I believe the perfect cocktail is to be working, and this is how I do it with my clients, one-on-one in an individual situation, and then also in a support group where they can be with other people who are going through a similar challenges. Not everyone's comfortable with that, so definitely get with a one-on-one counselor that understands the nature of this issue.
Dr. Ramona, we're running out of time, but I have one question I have to ask.
Yes.
Because I feel like it's one of those things, should people be looking at this issue as a zero tolerance issue? I mean, is this something where, one and done? Like, I cannot put up with this at all. So if I'm a victim of this, I have to make a plan to move on as soon as something like this happens, or should people have some cushion for forgiveness in these situations?
Well, that's a great question. I wish we had a couple hours to talk about that. Okay, to answer your first question, yes, zero tolerance. Zero tolerance for abuse. There's no excuse for abuse, and no one should have to live in an abusive situation. However, do I believe that people can change? Well, certainly. I mean, I believe that. However, do most? No. And that's not just me saying it. That's what the research demonstrates. There's too much at stake, okay? And so typically what I have seen and what the research supports is that abusers don't change.
Okay.
That's a sad reality,
There's the truth for you right there.
Right.
So the resources, check them out. We put them up on the screen throughout. They'll also be in the link below in the description. Also right here in this post if you're watching on Facebook. Thank you guys so much for coming today.
Thank you for
Fantastic
having
to
me.
have
Thank you.
Bring up this very,
I
very
really
important
appreciate
issue. And stick around for more Smarter San Diego TV, where we guarantee to make you smarter than everyone else, commercial free.
Hey, great show, guys. That's a wrap. Jade, what's your schedule look like? Do you mind breaking down the set?
Not today, Derek. I'd love to, but there's waves out there. I gotta go.
No, I can't either. I'm starting to get hangry and I have way too much stuff to do today. Kube, you've got this, right?
Sure, guys, I would love to. I'll get right to work.